When I said, what animal do you see yourself as? He said lion. And I was like, and then I sort of went, really? And he went, no, actually, I'm more of a monkey.
I'm Robbie Williams. I'm one of the biggest pop stars in the world. This is my story, but I'm not going to tell it in an ordinary way because I don't see myself how others see me.
For the next 2 hours, your ass is mine!
To be honest, I've always been a little less evolved. I don't wanna rock.
Well, Michael, you pulled off the impossible.
Thank you.
So when you first pitched it to the studio, where you say, okay, we're gonna have a monkey as the lead, the reaction was?
I mean, I didn't even pitch it to the studio. Some of my friends who work at studios, I showed it to, and they were like, don't even bother. Like, no studio is touching this. So we had to go the independent route. And so that meant pitching it to financiers. It meant pitching it to distributors. There were so many no's because it's just quite a surprising take on a film. But fortunately, there was enough people that believed in it that we managed to get it made.
Yeah, I'll be honest, when I watched the trailer, I didn't know what to make of it, but knowing you from The Greatest Showman movie, that was a fabulous movie, I was like, I'm going to trust in the director, because usually it has to do with the director, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's my favorite biopic of all time. I mean, I came out of that theater like, wow. Like, it was very emotional, and
Thanks so much.
had me crying at the end. So, you did your job. So what was it like crafting this? It's like a dreamlike. It's not your ordinary biopic, which is what I love because I'm kind of tired of biopics, drug addiction, it's the usual story. So what was your approach?
Yeah, I really wanted to explore both his external life and his internal life, and it's great that you sort of said it's dreamlike because you do have the license being a musical that you're already in a heightened reality. Then you add a monkey on top of that, you're in an even more heightened reality. And so to go from such a heightened place to pure imagination it's not that far. And so it allows you to step between those two worlds kind of seamlessly. And that I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed being able to do that as a storyteller. And it allowed what I think is a sort of more unique perspective on, someone's mental health as they're traversing all of this. And also I really enjoyed being in that moment where you're like, he's left, take that. He's driving away. He goes into the fog of his mind, but is it still reality? Now the world's turning red. Are they just because there's flares at the side of the road? No, now it's all a little more his bus from his childhood as his dad left. I'm definitely in the world of imagination, but at what point did you step from reality into imagination? It's a little fluid, and I really like that. I think it allows for, it kind of allows for you to go into his head a little bit more. And I think, for me, that's an interesting place.
It's a lot of extra work, but in a way it's kind of freeing, right? Because usually you have people comparing the actor to the... to the actual person, so it's kind of freeing in that aspect. And I'm sure Robbie was all for it because he's that kind of guy, right?
Yeah, he was the easiest person to convince. I mean, he immediately, when I said, what animal do you see yourself as? He said lion, and I was like, and then I sort of went, really? And he went, no, actually, I'm more of a monkey. And then I was like, great. And then I pitched him the idea, and he was 100% on board, which was fantastic. I think that it is one of those things, it's like you said, even from the trailer, you don't really get what it is until you watch the film. And that's the difficulty. It's hard to convince people that go with something that's a little more different, that's a little more surprising. But I really believe that if you are willing to go to those places, it just becomes magic.
Now, he doesn't have an autobiography out there or anything of that sort. So did you sit down with him? Because you worked with him, or you met him at doing The Greatest Showman, and Hugh was actually, he used Robbie as his North Star.
It kind of, so bizarre.
Yeah, so did you just sit down and just like, what went on?
I did a series of interviews, and kind of like this. We just went to his recording studio and just chatted. Every time I was in LA, I would just go over to his house. He has a recording studio downstairs. We'd go downstairs and just talk. And look, sometimes we'd talk for half an hour and sometimes we'd talk for 2 hours. It just was a natural sort of progression of just, over the course of a year and a half, me as a storyteller just trying to get as much story as possible. And it's not just the telling that I enjoy, because I really do love the way in which he tells his story. He just has a very charismatic way of doing it. But the stories themselves I found, quite universal. It's not about standing in front of 125,000 people. It's about wanting your dad's approval,
Well, amazing movie. I was really blown away. I don't think there's going to be anything like this ever again. So, and the music was just out of this world. I wasn't too familiar with Robbie. I knew of him, but I don't know of his music. And you redid some of the music, and I listened to the old music. You really pumped it up a lot. It's really very emotional.
Thanks.
So congratulations on that.
Yeah, well, it was great that they allowed us that liberty to just go, can we reproduce this for the film? And they were like, sure. And I was like, great. So yeah, and we had great people come in on it.
Hitting the heart right there.
Thank you.